Ram, a travel photographer, is waiting for his students. He instructs his students on how to go about the photography assignment and has them disperse to find the spots they like. For the next day's assignment, Prabha, one of Ram's students, proposes to drive him to the location. While passing through a town, Ram tells her that he grew up in this town and excitedly starts showing her all the places he has some memory associated with. But he stops himself from saying anything when they cross a bridge. They soon stop outside Ram's school and meet the guard. The guard is happy to see Ram after so many years and takes them to a tea stall. Ram cannot help himself from leaving the stall to go inside his school. As he enters the gates, he walks down a memory lane. He finally reaches his old classroom and sits on the bench, trying to remember how it was back then. Lost in deep thought, he goes out to sit on the bench near the playground. Ram feels surreal, realizing it has been 20 years since they passed out. After a long time, he feels like connecting with his school friends. He calls his best friend Merle, who is ecstatic to hear from him. He adds Ram to the school WhatsApp group called the 96 Batch, and the friends catch up. When one of them sends their group photograph from their school times, Ram zooms it in to see how everybody looked back then. One of them suggests a class reunion, and soon it is decided the reunion will be in Chennai on the 7th of March. It is the day of the reunion. The venue is brimming with happy faces. Those who couldn't make it join via video call. They pull each other's leg by remembering embarrassing anecdotes from their school time. A group hug from his friends welcomes Ram. They still have 4 more guests to come before they have dinner. One of them is Janu. Ram gets a bit uncomfortable hearing her name. His memories take him back to the year 1996, remembering Janki, also known as Janu, from his 10th class. Janu had a mellifluous voice and was a talented singer. Ram was in love with her and her voice. She also knew that she was the reason Ram had 90% attendance. Janu had a significant impact on his life, so much so that her asking if everything was fine was enough for Ram to come out of any upsetting situation. Every time he visited a temple, he always prayed to keep Janu before his eyes. Once when Janu didn't show up for 2 days, Ram couldn't concentrate on anything. His friend assured him Janu would come on Monday. The entire weekend was stressful for him. He couldn't eat or sleep properly and kept wondering what had happened to Janu. Soon Monday came, and Ram was hopeful. Janu finally came but didn't look well. She had been sick for some days. She was soon surrounded by her classmates asking how she was doing. But Ram couldn't bring himself to go to her seat and talk to her. Soon the teacher came and realized Janu still hadn't recovered and had a fever. She instructed Subha to take care of her. Soon Janu looked back at Ram and smiled. And he knew, even in this condition, she had come to school for him. This was the start of their love story. After that day, he felt shy talking to her. He couldn't understand the emotions he would feel when he saw Janu. Every time she was called to sing, Ram would request his favorite song through his friends, but Janu would never sing it. She wanted him to say it to her. On her birthday, their friends held Ram to stop him from running away and wished Janu a happy birthday. He managed to say so, but his heart rate increased, which one of his friends noticed. She asked Janu to feel it by placing her hand on his chest. This was enough to make Ram faint. Soon their final exams are over. The next day their 2-month holiday will begin. Ram is upset because he won't be seeing her for 2 months. But Janu asks him not to forget her in these 2 months and then rides back on her bike, leaving Ram with a hopeful smile. At present, Ram is anxiously waiting for Janu, who will be arriving from Singapore, where she now resides. His friends joke about how Ram is behaving exactly as he did in 10th grade. He walks behind the jumping house, almost hiding himself. Soon Janu arrives. She meets everybody, and Subha almost cries seeing her dear friend after a long time. She sits with them at the table, but her eyes search for Ram. Subha sends Satish to call Ram, but he refuses to come out. They're talking about Janu's husband and daughter when Satish comes, and Subha tells her that Ram is hiding behind the playing house. Janu eyes well up. She gets up from her chair and slowly walks towards Ram, remembering her 11th class, the time after the school holidays were over. She was excited to meet Ram, but couldn't find him anywhere in the class. The friends visit his house and find that Ram's father was in debt. They sold their house to pay off the debt and left for Chennai overnight. Ram and his mom came to know they were moving the night they were supposed to go, leaving no time for Ram to meet Janu one last time. Janu is left devastated as no one knows about his whereabouts. They soon pass their 12th, and before leaving the school forever, Janu visits the class and sits on Ram's seat. Life continues. Janu walks to where Ram is hiding and sees the 10th grade Ram she last saw. The seemingly tough Ram becomes a nervous wreck in front of Janu. He still can't look at her directly. Janu does most of the talking and asking questions. Janu places her hand on his chest out of nowhere, and Ram faints just like in 10th class. His friends help him calm down and take him to sit with them at the table. The friends soon leave Janu and Ram alone. Once Ram knows Janu hasn't had anything, he quickly goes to get her food. Ram doesn't get himself anything and sits there waiting for Janu to finish eating. She doesn't finish her food but leaves some for Ram. They sit in silence till Ram eats, savoring every bite from the same spoon Janu has eaten. Their friends take it upon themselves to break the awkwardness between them. Merle invites Janu on the stage to say a few words. The others cheer her to sing. Ram takes the opportunity and signals Merle to ask Janu to sing his favorite song. but Janu still doesn't sing his song. The entire time they are with their friends catching up, their eyes find each other. In the end, the 5 friends decide to have coffee in a cafe before saying their goodbyes, as Janu has to catch an early flight the next morning. While they're talking about their families, Subha reveals that Ram didn't get married. Janu is shocked at the revelation. He asks Ram why he didn't get married. Ram is not able to make an excuse. So to help him, Murli changes the topic and says they should leave now. Janu turns to Sathish for an explanation, but he, too, doesn't reveal anything. Ram is entrusted to take the ladies home. He drops Subha first so that he can get some more time with Janu. Once alone, he finally opens his mouth to initiate the conversation. Janu again poses the same question, but Ram doesn't answer. Instead, he drives her to her hotel and says he'll pick her up in the morning to take her to the airport. He gives her his number. Janu's curiosity has taken the best of her, and when she doesn't get answers, she gets upset. She gets out of the car without saying anything. She reaches her room, but she can't sit still. After a few minutes, she calls Ram and asks if he's gone. After a little hesitation, Ram says he's standing where she left him. Janu is relieved. She didn't want to end things between them on such a note. She runs downstairs and finds him standing near the entrance. She walks towards him, but unlike one would have thought, she smacks him many times. She's upset that Ram let her go without properly talking. After all, they were meeting after 22 years. Ram apologizes and even goes down to touch her feet to ask for her apology. They get in the car, and he takes Janu on a long drive. They giggle like teenagers when their friend Subha calls them individually to ask where they are, and they blatantly lie. Ram asks her where she wants to go, and after some contemplation, Janu says she wants to go to a salon. She wants to see Ram as he was in class 10, so she asks the barber to make him look like a 10th class boy, which means he's getting a clean shave. After a shave and a haircut, Ram refuses to show Janu his face and keeps it covered with a towel. But the barber snatched it away, revealing a much younger looking Ram. He must have lost pounds after that shave. Janu is very happy to see such a transformation. She asks him to open his shirt, to which Ram complies as he is wearing a t-shirt underneath. With just the t-shirt, he looks much younger. But Janu can't fathom why he acts scared when she gets close to him. She blatantly asks him if he's ever been with a woman. But Ram is reluctant to answer this question as well. Frustrated, Janu smacks him again. She makes him stand near the car and makes him promise to answer all her questions. Ram hesitates before accepting he has been celibate all his life. Janu can't hide her amusement. Ram asks her to change the topic as he is feeling very shy. Janu reveals she wanted to know why he left without meeting her because that took a toll on her. She couldn't concentrate on her studies and somehow managed to pass 12th and complete her graduation. But she couldn't forget Ram and yearned to meet him once again. Her sister had eloped, which made her father furious. To avoid such a thing happening again, he got Janu married 2 months after the incident. Janu couldn't say anything. She remembers waiting for him even on the day of her marriage, hoping he would turn up somehow. She could almost feel his presence around her. She was hoping that Ram wouldn't let her get married to anyone else, but this was all her wishful thinking. Ram is stunned to hear this. Their conversation is interrupted by a guard who tells them the gates will soon be closed. They get into their car and exit the complex. They drive to Janu's hotel. Janu apologizes, saying she didn't mean to embarrass him by sharing all this. She just wanted to let it out. Ram reveals he had come to her college and even sent her a message asking her to meet him outside the college. Janu doesn't believe him. Ram recalls that he had come with Sathish from Chennai only to meet Janu. He asks a girl to relay the message and tells her his name. But the girl forgets his name when she meets Janu, but tells her a boy wants to meet her. Janu looks at the guy standing outside the gate and mistakes him to be her stalker. She rather rudely tells the girl to mind her business and not to bother her with such frivolities. The girl goes back and tells them that Janu has asked them to go away and never contact her. Disheartened, he asks the girl to tell Janu that he will never bother her again. He then thanked the girl for her help and went back to Chennai. Janu cannot hold her tears when she hears about the incident. She gets out of the car, and Ram follows her to her room at the hotel. Janu cries and regrets not seeing Ram that day. She then tells him she mistook him for her stalker. She thinks their destiny was never meant to intertwine. That is probably the reason they couldn't meet each other. Ram confesses he tried to muster up the courage to meet Janu, but for one or the other reason, he would back out at the last moment. But he would keep tabs on her life and knew everything about her, except the stalker incident. Ram manages to make Janu laugh after she has cried her eyes out. He also reveals he was present at her wedding, which she felt was real, but he couldn't stay there long and see the love of his life marry someone else, so he ran away. It is late, and Ram says he'll come tomorrow to take her to the airport, but Janu wishes to spend time with him, so they decide to go out. They're sitting in a cafe when Ram suddenly hides his face. His students had just walked in, and he didn't want them to see him with Janu. To his dismay, Prabha recognizes him and says hi. She looks at Janu and asks Ram if she is Ram's wife. Before Ram could reply, Janu plays along and says she is. Prabha and all the students are in disbelief when Janu tells them theirs is a love marriage. It's difficult for them to believe that a strict snob like their teacher could love someone. The students are curious to know how Ram proposed to her. Janu looks at Ram once and then tells the students their story. She tells them the truth about how they were classmates, and then they started liking each other in 10th class, and that Ram had suddenly left for Chennai without telling her. She adds how devastated she was after he left her. But she didn't give up, hoping that she would meet Ram. She twists the story about Ram coming to meet her at the college. This time he comes alone, and the girl who relayed the message doesn't forget his name. And when Janu hears his name, she runs to meet him. This time nothing could stop her. The man who stood at the gate was what Ram had become in these 3 years she didn't see him. He now supported a beard and looked brave. She had many questions she thought she would ask when she met Ram. But at that moment, she could only hug him. Janu is teary as she wishes things could be different. Ram is teary too, but before anybody can see that, he gets up and asks his students to go as it is getting late. Prabha talks to Janu before leaving. After the students are gone, Ram hesitatingly suggests they go to his house because Janu's hotel is far from there. Janu seemingly looks hurt hearing that, and Ram immediately apologizes. But it turns out that Janu was pulling his leg. Ram is innocent, and she trusts him blindly. They start walking to his home, but it soon starts raining. By the time they reach, they are completely drenched. Janu goes to the bathroom to clean herself up, and Ram brings her some of his clothes and a towel. She hands him her clothes to dry out, and he hangs them on his balcony. He then makes tea for them, and they enjoy sipping it as they look outside into the night sky. Janu is worried about Ram. She tries to coax him into getting married and having a family of his own. He can't keep going on living like this. She says she'll be happy to see him as a family man. She continues that she wants to meet his life partner, to whom she can tell all about Ram, that how loving and caring he is. Ram looks at her lovingly. He asks if she wants to eat anything. She says she is not hungry, but Ram is because he hasn't had anything to eat. Janu quickly prepares something to eat. Ram eats to his content and compliments her cooking, saying it reminds him of his mother's cooking. He wants to know if Janu is happy in her life. She tells him it was difficult at first because she was all alone in Singapore, and then adds that her husband is a good man and a great father. He understands her feelings even if she doesn't express them. So to answer his question, she is leading a good life. She playfully says she feels like saying something to him, but she wouldn't. Ram probably guessed it, and he gestured not to say anything. There is a power cut. He asks her to keep sitting, or she might get hurt, and goes to get a torch. As he reaches the other room, he hears Janu's voice singing his favorite song, the one he had been requesting all those years ago, but she never sang it. He runs frantically to get the emergency light and runs back to see her sing. They look at each other once she is done singing, and the power comes back. Janu smiles at him. It is her parting gift for him. Ram then shows her a suitcase full of things he had collected when they were in school. He calls it a memory box. Janu gets excited to see so many things associated with their budding love in their school days. He shows her a diary in which he wrote poems for her. But he doesn't want her to read because he feels embarrassed. Janu asks him to read it for her. After a little hesitation, he reads. She lies down on the bed as he reads, and soon she falls asleep. He looks up and sees her sleeping. So as not to wake her, he quietly puts the things back in the suitcase. He keeps an extra pillow on the edge so she doesn't fall and makes his bed on the floor. Before sleeping, he looks at her and prays for her well-being. He then lies on the floor. Janu wakes up after some time and finds Ram sleeping on the floor. She doesn't want him to sleep on the hard floor and asks him to come up on the bed. Ram hesitates, but seeing her sitting up, he goes to sit beside her. They soon have to leave for the airport. While standing on the balcony, Janu shares that before leaving, Prabha had told her to take care of Sir as he's a very good man. Janu knows he's a good man, but she doesn't know how she can take care of him. Ram reminds her it is time to leave. The journey back to the hotel is quiet. Both are trying to subdue their emotions as they are soon going to part ways. Janu is leaving the only man she truly loves. She places her hand on the gear stick so she can feel his touch and remember it once she's gone. Ram pulls away his hand when he realizes she's placed her hand on the gear stick, but he has to shift gears and left with no choice, he places his hand on hers to change the gear. Janu holds back her tears as, for the entire journey, Ram keeps his hand on hers. They soon reach the airport. Janu doesn't want to go. The anticipation of never being able to see each other is eating her from inside. She asks him to stay a little longer. Seeing Janu in tears, Ram leaves for a few minutes and returns with a ticket for himself so he can be with her till she leaves. Janu cries tears of joy. Now she can be with him even if it is for a little longer. With the announcement for onboarding, Ram and Janu cry, not being able to say anything. The longing, the wish, only if things could have turned out differently, the swell of emotions all flow out in tears. Janu can't look at Ram and tries to turn him away. When he doesn't budge, she closes his eyes with her hands and cries, pouring her heart out. And without taking a second glance at him, she leaves. Ram stays standing there for a long time. And then, finally, he cries. He didn't want to cry in front of Janu, but now that she is gone, he cries his eyes out, even as he exits the airport. He drives back home and looks at the empty seat where Janu sat just a few hours ago. Back home, he stands on the balcony for a long time, thinking about the woman to whom he dedicated his life. He never married because after loving Janu, he couldn't bring himself to love any other woman. Her clothes still hang on his balcony. He folds them and keeps them in the suitcase with other such memories of Janu he has collected that he'll treasure for the rest of his life.